Whenever the subject of Pyromancer is brought up to me, I always feel a little bit bad for people that like her, because she's a pretty good concept for a class, but she's just been nerfed so heavily over the years that I don't know, I just feel bad for people that really like her, because she could be pretty good. But of course, just because I think she's a weaker character does not mean she is completely unplayable. Of course we can make her strong. Absolutely. Let's talk about her. Her passive ability, Critical Mass, increases critical strike chance based on overcharge up to 30, or sorry, overcharge level up to 30%. So yeah, she gets a bunch of crit chance based on her overheat bar. It's pretty nice. Her career skill, the Burning Heads, unleashes a fiery projectile that seeks out foes. This ultimate, unfortunately, does not work very well. Its targeting has problems seeking out foes. I mean, you could stand right in front of one and it would just go like completely behind you for no reason. It's tough, but sometimes it does work and it can be useful. Part of the problem with Sienna is she only has one other little passive thing here, that's Searing Focus. Increases range damage by 10%. Whoop-de-freaking do. I mean, I'm pretty sure all the other Siennas have this same passive. And she's got two spaces here worth nothing, and this is part of the problem why Pyro is kind of like a weakling. There's nothing here. Why not give her some stuff? Come on! What the hell? Jeez. Okay, my rant aside, we're gonna try to work with what we got here. So my melee weapon that I'm choosing today is the Flaming Flail. For that, we're going with Spirit Binding. Melee killing blows restore temp health. You know how it works. The dagger's also pretty good on her. I would recommend damaging for that one. If you want to play defensive, I guess you could use like the Flame Sword, but why would you do that? It's Pyro. I guess, the Crowbill, if you're gonna, be, if you hate your life, I guess, go for the Crowbill, but killing blows for that one, definitely. Moving on, the object, the focus of this build is the Bolt Staff, though, which is going to be our ranged weapon. So for that, we want as much crit chance as possible, absolutely. Which is why I'm taking Spirit Casting. Increases critical strike chance by 10% while above 80% health. Pretty solid. Enhanced Power is pretty much an absolute must on any Sienna class, just because fire damage, it's a heavy emphasis on range damage, and this just gives you a boost, which is pretty nice. Our next line down here on the Precipice is going to be huge. Increases range power by 15% when at or above critical overcharge. So as you can see, my overcharge bar is pretty much full, and the little icon all the way to the right is on the Precipice, and you can see what is considered to be critical overcharge is not actually where that line is, but a little bit below the line. As you can see, it just now fades away. I always thought that was interesting, because for the longest time I thought it was right on the line, but no, it's actually a little bit below. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, this is going to be really nice, and I'm going to show you how it works, of course, when we talk about the Bolt Staff, but this is going to let you do lots and lots of damage with the Bolt Staff on her, which is excellent. This line down here, unfortunately, the Voln's Doctrine is really the only solid choice you can take. It removes the slowdown when you're at super high overcharge. So normally, if you're at that critical overcharge spot, which is where we're going to try to be for like most of this build, your attack speed would get slowed, your casting would be slowed, but not with this talent. It's just normal speed. So yeah, it's a talent that stops you from being like penalized pretty much. It's the best one here, but it's not like it's that amazing. Anywho, we've got two ultimates down here that are pretty good. The first one is the Blazing Echo. Burning Head, critical hits refund its cooldown. So this will give you the ultimate back, kind of the way like Piercing Shot works on Waystalker, except it's only when you crit. So you kind of have to get a little bit lucky with it. It's really good when you have a Witch Hunter captain on the team. I've gotten as many as like 9 in a row one time. So that was kind of fun, but usually you get like 2 or 3, maybe 4. But of course, most of the time it's 1. So for me, personally, I like the Bonded Flame because Burning Head grants 35 temp health when used, and that is really excellent, and it's going to help you keep Spirit Casting up because this does work with temp health, which is a huge part of this build. On to the talents. As I mentioned, the Flaming Flail is the melee weapon of choice today. I've got crit chance, I've got attack speed, and I've got swift slaying. Nothing too fancy here. I just want to be able to attack very quickly. We are not using, where is it? We're not using one with the flame today, which would give us that bonus attack speed. So I'm just going with a simple make my weapon fast kind of setup. Pretty simple. And for the bolt staff today, heatsink is our trade of choice. This is what's going to let us do lots and lots of damage with On the Precipice and stay in that super high overcharge range, because with heatsink, critical hits refund the overcharge cost of the attack, kind of the same way her ult works actually from Blazing Echo. So if you throw a bolt staff out when you're at high overcharge, you'll do more damage because of On the Precipice, and you also have a higher chance to crit, which is super nice. And if you crit, hey, it doesn't cost anything, so you can keep throwing them out. And all you gotta do is wait until your overcharge bar is like halfway from all the way full to the first line, maybe a little bit above that. You don't want to do it too soon or else you will blow up, but if you are at least halfway down that bar, you can throw one out. And if you don't consume, then that's fantastic. I'm building for 20% power versus berserkers and 10% power versus infantry, and crit chance, of course, to help proc heatsink. This setup will let you on Kata one-shot pretty much anything, not quite everything, but like all specials. The only thing you won't be able to one-shot is like a Chaos Warrior, a Warrior. It's a pretty good setup for fully charging your bolt staff. And what I mean by fully charges, there's actually 3 different types of charge on a bolt staff. So the first level of charge is when you fire immediately, like so. The second level of charge is when you hold it a little bit and it makes one noise, like so. You can see it's about, not quite twice the damage, but a little bit more. And then the third level of charge is when you hear the noise twice, like so, and it's a lot more damage when you hold it for that third level of charge, and that is going to give you big damage, and even more with On the Precipice and a crit. So that's excellent. The necklace today, I'm going with Stamina, Blockhouse, Destruction, Natural Bond. I don't take extra health on Pyromancer because of Spirit Casting. If you have less health, you need less health to hit the threshold for extra crit chance. So that's why I do that. You only need 80 health. And then the extra stamina is just because, defense, more push attacks. And Natural Bond just kind of gives you something to help keep your health, a little bit higher over time. Another thing that works really good on her is Bunashalia. Her ult already gives you 35 temp health, so with Bunashalia, that's 30% more. That's math real quick. That is about 9. You can do math. That is about 9 more temp health, so 44. And if you have a Sister of Thorn on the team, yeah, you're making tons of temp health. You're pretty much going to be at full. So either one of those is fantastic. I don't think you really need Barkskin. Her health is super low already. One thing about the Flaming Flail, it's not going to make you tremendous temp health. The Dagger will make you really good temp health. The Flaming Flail probably will not, especially if you focus most of the time on range like I like to do with this setup. So, take that for what you will. As I mentioned on the charm, power versus berserkers, power versus infantry to hit those breakpoints. I like Concoction. Her ult is only a minute long. I have a little bit of cooldown reduction on here. It's only a minute long, and Concoction, any potion you drink, it gives you all the effects for a short amount of time, but it does take a minute off your cooldown. So any potion she drinks, she immediately gets her ult back. So even if you don't have Bunashalia and you don't have a sister on the team, 70 easy temp health if you want to drink and ult twice. And finally on the trinket, I'm running Shrapnel, cooldown reduction, and crit chance. If you're going to do Legend and Under and go for books, lose the cooldown reduction, go for curse resistance and crit chance and shrapnel. But Cat and above, I'd say, hey, just roll with a little bit extra cooldown reduction. You don't really need stamina recovery with a Flaming Flail. It's a pretty good melee weapon. So there you have it. This is Pyromancer at what I think is probably her best. This build does a lot of damage. You're not very tanky, but why would you want to be? You do a lot of good damage through melee and through range. I think it's pretty fun. You have a little bit of defense with Bonded Flame here. I think this is probably the best we're going to get out of Pyro until they give her a little bit of love and throw some passives on her. Come on, Fat Shark. Make Pyro good again.